All right, we'll see who comes onto the live here. If no one shows up into the live, I just want to plug my channel real quick. You can join the channel where every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. EST, I'm going to be going live. It's $25 a month. If you guys want more one on one time, we're going to have Zoom calls. We're going to have live YouTube calls like this. It's going to be a semi private session if you want. Okay. If not, all my content still stays the same. Great content coming out daily on this. What's going on, guys? You're a great help to many people, my guy. Oh, that's super nice. It's been 3 days Nick free on the downhill side of the THC withdrawal. The next 3 nicotine free may be rough to quit, but I know I can. Yeah, you can definitely do it. You're absolutely 100% capable of quitting. There's no question about it, Clouds. There's no question about it. Random person, what is it? It's Tuesday nights. It's if you just click the join section on the YouTube channel, there's a little join button at the bottom of all my videos. It signs you up for like a monthly subscription for $24.99 a month. And I go live once a week. And then we're going to do like private live Zoom calls and private live YouTube calls like this. And I'm going to do like private video responses and all that fun stuff if people want, but it's not going to change the content of the channel or anything. All my stuff is always free. It's just if you want more access to one-on-one stuff. That's all. Nice haircut. Yeah, I like the haircut. Thank you. I went to a barber today. A lot of times I'll just go to like a Supercuts or something like that. But I realized the barber opened up near my work, and the guy's great. He's just a really, really good guy. Can weed cause gastritis and bloating? This is what I'll explain about weed, okay? So in your gastrointestinal system, you have a bunch of cannabinoid receptors. Okay. THC is a phytocannabinoid found in the cannabis plant. When you consume THC, it impacts your gastrointestinal system because it binds to all the cannabis receptors in there, or cannabinoid receptors. So, could it cause gastritis and bloating? It has a significant impact on the GI system because of the amount of receptors you have down there. So, I'm going to say quite possibly yes. People have really screwed up bowel issues and GI issues when they quit cannabis. That's part of the withdrawal symptoms. But can weed on its own be a cause? I'm not exactly 100% positive. I do want to throw this out there. For a lot of people, cannabis helps them with the stomach issues. But in a case like this, it might be possible to cause that. Quit both weed and nicotine and I can't stop coughing. Very normal. That's your lungs actually detoxing all of this stuff out. Very, very normal for the first 2 to 3 weeks. Probably more from quitting the nicotine than the weed, but super normal. People cough up some really, really weird stuff when they first quit. I didn't personally struggle with that a lot. But we get that all the time from people. Very normal. Of course, if it continues, go see your doctor, obviously. Right? We got to make sure it's not COVID. My wedding was great. Thanks for asking. We had a really good wedding. It was like a really, really perfect day. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better group of people. No one got sick. We all had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I'll try and post some videos on it in my shorts or something like that on here. Oh, thanks, Clouds. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Even just saying thanks, like that means a lot, guys. I know how much this channel means to people. I get so many DMs and so many emails every day. It's honestly impossible to respond to them. I do better responding to my comments than I do those sometimes, but it's I really enjoy doing this. I really truly get a high out of this, and that's kind of my encouragement to you guys. I don't know. I try and be like a living example of what you can do when you take your obsession and when you take that, what I refer to as that addiction mindset, and put it towards something good versus towards something destructive. Quoting Meek Mill, chase your ambitions, not your addictions. You know what I mean? Some of your videos helped. Quit smoking Juul a week ago. How are you doing quitting Juul? That's awesome. I'm thrilled to hear that. Nicotine salts can be tough. Here was my thing about Juul and products like that. They always talk about like treating someone like a lab rat. Juul really took that to an extreme. Yeah, they get you hooked on the flavors. Nicotine salts enter your bloodstream and leave your bloodstream twice as fast, I think, about as free base nicotine found in like cigarettes, making the withdrawals kick in faster and harder. And then that little light at the end of it, yeah, that's to show your battery power, but it also tells your brain that you're about to get a reward like a lab rat. So it's funny because when I started to piece all this together, I was like, I'm not some rat. I'm not some freaking like, oh, I just felt so wrong. It's so wrong how many ways they keep people hooked. And not to mention, Jewel was the first to really introduce the idea of technology addiction as well, too. Brandon, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Nicotine salts are the worst. What's up, Brandon? My throat hurts and eating is weird, but I feel so much better. I used it for 4 years. Very, very, very normal stuff, my friend. You are just in the first week of quitting. You know, I'll tell you, man, pop back on the channel, check in. And Brandon, I hope everything's going well. I really I hope things are going good. I gotta reach out. I what's up? What's up, Michael? What's going on? What's going on, LeBlanc? What's going on? Um, it's very normal for that in the first week. Give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks, give it a month. I promise that stuff subsides. I promise in time a lot of those symptoms are going to subside. Uh it gets better. I promise. You know, when you're going through some of this annoying stuff, a piece of advice for you with the withdrawals and things like that. One of the ways to get through these annoying things, in my opinion, the withdrawals have an end to them. There's a finite end to withdrawal. There is no end to active addiction, right? There's a finite end to the withdrawals. There's a point where you are going to achieve your goal of quitting. In addiction, you're just running in a rat race. You're running in a circle. There's no end to it. That's why being addicted is such an exhausting thing. That's why I think so many of us, on top of the chemical dependencies that occur and stuff, why we struggle so badly with fatigue. And I remember being addicted, I was tired all the time. I never would have had the energy to come on here. You guys, I've been at work since 6:30 this morning, making videos, treating patients, doing phone calls. My wife's out of town right now, so I'm just like chilling on here now. The energy increase after some amount of time is so amazing. And when you have energy, you can actually go work on and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, which I think is so rewarding. It's so cool. It's so cool. Um, I was told by my doctor that gastritis was caused by extreme stress and anxiety. That could be true. Absolutely. Stress completely increases inflammation in the body. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, man, to the person asking me about gastritis from weed, my challenge to you would be quit for a while, give it 3 months, take a 3 month tolerance break, and see if things get better. See how you feel after you quit for a while. That would be my advice to you. You've been instrumental in being day 115 weed free for me. Chuck Dunn, what's up? Anytime, anytime. Happy that you accomplished that, Chuck. Thrilled, man. Love seeing that stuff. Anhedonia for a month plus after quitting vaping. Of course, I had anhedonia. I'll make a video on that for you. Anhedonia, for those of you guys who don't know, it's a lack of joy. It's basically like this just emotionless feeling. And it's very, very common, especially with nicotine or any addiction, because you become dependent on that drug as the source of joy. So you use it when you're sad, you use it to reinforce happiness too, though, right? We would use nicotine to celebrate. And it eventually robs that of people. I can't tell you how many, I've had a lot of like athletes reach out to me, and not professional, but like high school, college athletes. And they'll say, you know, I won the big game. I remember this one conversation with this guy, and he's like, dude, I won. Like, I literally won the game. He was a quarterback. And he was like, I just felt nothing afterwards. Very, very, very common because you're not getting that adrenaline hit and that release of serotonin and dopamine from the nicotine when you first quit. But that does rebalance. All those neurotransmitters eventually rebalance. Red Eye Villain, thank you. D Griffith, what's up? No, I don't, random person. I have no experience with psychedelics. Psychedelics, honestly, they just never appealed to me. I don't know why. They just never did. There was a lot of things, guys. It was nicotine, weed, porn, energy drinks, and THC. Outside of that, I had no interest in other substances or other drugs. I don't know why that is, but I didn't. I quit vaping and smoking after I was in the hospital with myocarditis, and the dreams I had were so realistic, it was insane. Oh, yeah. I tell people, buckle up. Buckle up for the dreams when you first quit. The dreams are very, very intense and very, very real. I used to tell myself on a nightly basis, Frank, you're going to the movies. Get ready. Is it going to be a horror movie, an action movie? And man, it just wild, 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 wild. Good reason to quit, though, because of myocarditis. Good reason to quit. Respect from Ireland. That's so cool. People all around the world watching this stuff. It is so cool. I'm 3 days sober right now, and the past 3 days have been so hard. All I can think about is how bad I want the drug and how bad I want to relapse. I don't know what I can do. I can't tell anyone. JC, well, you're on here now with us, so big props here. You know the Addiction Mindset family as your back. And JC, I have one piece of advice for you, and I'm going to make a detailed video for you specifically tomorrow. Well, I was going to make this video anyways, but here's a sneak peek. JC, when it comes to quitting and you're struggling, and maybe you've tried to quit before in the past and you've relapsed and stuff, I want you to quit, if for nothing else, to prove to yourself that you're capable of doing something that you didn't think was possible. Here you are in the first 3 days and you're struggling and you're thinking you're going to fail and you're thinking you're going to relapse. My advice to you would be hang in there, my man, hang in there, or girl, or whatever. Hang in there, because if you can do this and you can prove to yourself that you're capable of accomplishing something that you didn't believe you were once capable of, you're going to be able to apply that mentality and that mindset to multiple aspects of your life. And that, man, I never thought I would have been capable of being on a YouTube live stream and having people actually tune in. Never thought I would have been capable of turning Addiction Mindset into the company that it's becoming. But when I hit roadblocks now, because there's a lot of challenges, I'll say to myself, Frank, you got this. You quit addiction. You are capable of accomplishing something that you didn't believe possible, and you did it. You figured it out. So, JC, that would be my advice for you, on top of my normal advice about withdrawals, which is withdrawal is nothing more than that addiction leaving your body and addiction trying to pull you back in. When the withdrawals get tough, you can guarantee yourself that you're winning. You're winning. And JC, you've probably become accustomed to losing for such a long time. You're used to what losing feels like. You're used to addiction. Winning hits a little different at first. And once you start to hit that point of success, I promise it feels good. It makes it all worth it. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. Respect from Ireland. Thanks, man. 10 years in recovery. You got this, Brandon. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Brandon, for throwing that out there. Seriously. So encouraging to see everyone in here being so supportive. It's so nice. I don't know what happened, but I lost the desire to look at stuff on the screen. Not complaining. Congrats, Paul. Yeah. I think eventually, for when you see, I assume we're talking about adult media content. When you see that stuff for what it is and you lose the desire for it, quitting becomes a lot easier, because then you don't have to use willpower. You don't have to use any of those things like that, because you don't crave something that you don't actually want. It's like, I don't actually want this thing anymore. Therefore, you're not fighting an urge or fighting a temptation. So congrats, Paul. That's a huge shift in mindset. Presumably that happened, or you just got sick of, the nightly routine of cranking one, right? Like, it's just too exhausting sometimes. Anything to calm and combat the aggression. Bright heart. All I would say to that is, how early on are you into the quitting process? Of course, in the beginning, you're going to have some aggression because you're coming off of a substance. So if you're early on, just be patient. And I would say this, when it comes to the aggression, maybe there's a little bit of anger there. And bright heart, if you're quitting something, but you're holding on to the mindset that you're making a sacrifice or you're giving something up, that you're going to be angry. If you feel like you're giving something up, or like you're struggling to quit this thing, you're going to be upset. You're going to be aggressive. So maybe it's a shift in mindset that you need as far as how you view the substance. Maybe it's a matter of viewing it as, I'm not letting go of anything, but I'm gaining everything back. Maybe that's what the scenario is that we're talking about. I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to keep myself busy to keep my mind off the withdrawals, but I just can't. Okay, JC, we're talking about that's all right. 1 week, no weed. I really want to get high. Mike Denver, my advice on that, I you have to pause and you have to ask yourself, why did you quit? If you really want to get high, why did you bother to quit? Why did you bother to come this far? And I'm sure there's reasons. You may have relationship reasons, financial reasons, health reasons. So if you're going to say, I want to get high, you have to complete the rest of that sentence with, I want to get high and continue to ruin my relationships. I want to get high and continue to ruin my finances. I want to get high and continue to destroy my own, whatever, motivation, whatever it is you're struggling with. Because that high, in the case of addiction, there's more to it than just the high. You're trading something. So what is it that you're trading for that high? I think you have to really think deeply about that before you make that decision. Do you recommend working on your new goals immediately after quitting weed? Or give yourself a week or two. Ease into things when you first quit, Michael. Um, uh, you give yourself time. Don't rush the process. For the first 2 weeks when you're quitting weed, treat it like you're having the flu. Okay. You're sick. Your body has to heal. Go easy on yourself. Simple. Keep things simple. At this moment, when you're going through withdrawal and you're just quitting, your brain craves simplicity. So whatever you can do, I don't care. Wash your clothes, but wear the same damn thing every day. Don't take time to think about what you have to put on. I know that sounds ridiculous probably right now, but I mean it. Like, think simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. You have plenty of time ahead of you in your recovery and sobriety process to work on your goals. Cannabis never appealed to me, but I love my nicotine. Yeah, I understand. I really do understand. I do. Dopamine levels or happy feelings return, so life doesn't feel flat and boring to Liberty Wolf. So Liberty Wolf, I think you've probably been putting in a lot of work. I'll just throw this out there. A lot of times, if people are feeling flat and boring, I say, in your recovery process, are you the same person that you were before? Did you go back to being the same person you were before you got addicted? Or are you trying to become a better version of that person? And I always encourage people to try and become a better version, because if we go right back to the same person we were, we're going to wind back up with the same results again. So I inherently had to change a lot of things about myself to not become a boring person. I had to start a YouTube channel. I had to put more effort into my business. I had to, seek out that relationship, that significant, meaningful relationship. I had to add a lot of things to my life to get rid of that feeling of boredom. I think Liberty Wolf, any of us who struggle with addiction, we all crave a high. And I think we crave a substantial high. Like, it needs to be something big. For me, it had to be something big. It had to be something impactful. I get a real high off of YouTube, right? It's cool knowing that I'm helping people like this and creating content. So hopefully you're working on finding that thing for yourself. And then of course, basic stuff, exercise, eating healthy, sleeping, all of those things are going to be important. And then at the end of the day, Liberty Wolf, it's the full recovery is about a year for the brain. It's about a year. So just throwing that out there. Psychs could help around day 14 of weed withdrawal. Shrooms rewards your brain. Okay. So a lot of people have opinions on shrooms and all that stuff. And that's just not what my channel is about, guys. My channel is not, I understand that it might help people and there's great literature out there to support that, it would appear, coming out. That's just not what we're about here. That's all. But yeah, no, it's all good. Some pretty vivid dreams some nights. Once I had a sense of smell, I was just like awake. Yeah. Ask yourself why. That's right, Paul. Just do better than yesterday. That's all you can do. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. What's up? What's up? Eat all your fish. So good to see you guys. CBD helps with the dreams while quitting THC. Yeah, guys, I'm a fan of CBD products. I'm not against them. The only time I advise against CBD is if you're suffering from CHS or cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, because that can trigger an attack. Generally speaking, though, if you have a good quality company providing you reputable CBD, not in the form of a vape, I would never encourage anyone to vape it. But if you're doing it in the form of an edible or a dropper, a tincture, yeah, I think there can be real benefit to that when it comes to quitting THC and quitting nicotine. Frank is being frank about things. Screw recovery, meth till death. That's an option. That's an option. I'm on day 6 and I have slept 15 hours over the past week. When do the physical withdrawals subside? It's been a week, your weekend. Try and get to 2 weeks, Tim. Try and get to 2 weeks. I don't want to smoke because my family just harvested a new crop. I'm curious how it came out and how the new strains are. Mike, the same, Mike, there's always going to be something new. Okay. And Mike, I'm going to throw this out there for you because there's a lot of people in this position. New Delta 8 strain, new Delta 10 strain, new CBD this, new CBD THC combo, new this, new that. Mike, the biggest blessing for me in recovery is to not care about the new stuff that comes out. There's so many other things in my life now that my attention is focused on and concerned with. And I am so grateful to drive past my local shop and they'll have the signs out, right? When Delta 8 came out, THCO, all this stuff. We have this, try this. I just literally sit back and say, thank God I'm not consumed by that anymore because I have so many other things that I'd rather be focused on right now and doing. I think that's a big thing about addiction, whether it's to alcohol, nicotine, weed. There's always going to be a new strain. There's always going to be a new product. That's that addictive voice in your brain trying to suck you back in. So if you're going to try the new strain and you were really struggling hardcore with active addiction, again, you have to ask yourself, what comes along with that new strain? What are the negative consequences? Because a lot of those things might return if you go back to it. They might not. I'm a year and a half, no nicotine was no problem. Weed was not easy. If you don't mind me asking, how often do you think about smoking? Juice box, I really don't. I honestly don't think about it. Granted, that might be hypocritical because I make YouTube videos about it every single day. But I think you're asking me as far as cravings go. It's not on my mind. I'm thinking about how do I get the sound quality better on this microphone? How could have I made this room and the lighting look better for my next video? There's your mind eventually moves on, man. When those cravings go away, when that urge goes away, those thoughts go away. And Juicebox, I'm going to throw this out there too. You may still be under the impression that you gave something up. If you're still holding on to those past memories of weed or nicotine or whatever it is, those past experiences, you're going to continue to think about it a lot. So I would encourage you this. When you're thinking about it, think about the last time you smoked, not the first time you smoked. And whether it's nicotine, weed, or alcohol, I think we can all sit back and say, hey, the first time I did it, it wasn't that bad. I had a lot of fun. I was with my friends. But think about the last time, because chances are that was a little bit painful. Chances are there was some discomfort there. Let go of those others. Let go. Let go of that other stuff. That'd be my biggest advice to you. Should I stop watching weed content while trying to quit THC? Yeah, I would. Yes, I would do that. That would probably be a good idea. Hell, I tell people, man, stop watching my content so many times, and I was guilty of this, guys. I would get consumed by watching like videos on how to quit, videos on anxiety, videos on depression, and I'm hearing all this advice. Excuse me, and I'm not acting on any of it. And that was really a huge problem. So I tell people all the time, yeah, get off the channel, go out, do stuff, take action. Like that's the recovery, and quitting is not about just watching stuff all the time. Like if you're going to watch something that's going to teach you a new skill, right? So a lot of videos that I watch are videos on how to make a better YouTube channel, how to go viral, how to get better sound, how to be a better addiction recovery coach. That's the stuff that I watch. And this goes to a bigger picture thing of stuff, Mike. addiction trains us to be a consumer. So I was tired of consuming content. I wanted to be the producer. I wanted to be the person that was influencing, not the person being constantly influenced. So I don't consume content unless it has some direct benefit to me. I of course I watch some comedy and some things to chill out, but that's just my advice to you. Baby steps, eat all your fish. That's absolutely right. Hey, if that's better than you did yesterday, smoking a little bit less, that counts. You have to really want to quit or you won't. That's 100% right, D. Griffith. It's a mindset. If you really want it, at the end of the day, people ask me, how do you quit an addiction? How do you quit doing this? The end outcome for everyone is the same. You stop using the substance and you don't pick it up again. You're done. You stop using it. How you get there, the struggles that you go through, how challenging you make it for yourself is up to you. But if you really want to be done with it and you're confident that you're done and you see the addiction for what it is, I think quitting becomes a lot easier, even when you're dealing with those withdrawals. Bigfoot, I don't know about alcohol cravings. I don't do a lot with alcohol. I don't have a great answer, but I assume it's like most things. I assume by the time you hit the 3 month mark, it becomes much easier. But again, what are you actually craving? You got to ask yourself when you're craving alcohol or weed or nicotine, what are you craving? Are you craving the damaged relationships? Are you craving ethanol destroying your liver? Are you craving the money that you're spending on it? Are you craving the time that you've wasted on this addiction? See alcohol or any drug for that matter for what it really is. A craving is nothing more than a thought and an energy. And do you really want to act on it? Because if you act on those alcohol cravings, you might be pulling yourself back into all those other things. What you're really craving, my guess, would be a sobriety from alcohol. And there's a series of reasons why you want to be sober from alcohol. That's what you crave. You crave the better relationships. You crave the better financial stability. You crave waking up and feeling good in the morning, having the energy to do the things that you want to do. That's what you actually crave. So don't let that addictive voice in your brain mess with you and trip you up into thinking that you're craving a drug or a substance. Okay. Um, how long should I wait to have a drink after weed withdrawal begins? I probably personally, I don't know. For me, I was probably 3 months. I really don't drink much anymore, guys. In fact, I haven't drank at all. And since I made that video on alcohol, I would usually have like one cocktail a week, usually at a dinner on a Saturday night at this point in my life. But I did away with that recently. I would wait a while though, because if you drink alcohol, it's going to hurt your impulse control. You're going to catch a buzz. And then when you catch the buzz, you're probably going to be looking for weed. Personally, I'd say probably at least 3 months. That's just my guess. Everyone is different, though. How do you deal with impulse control? Damaged impulse control is one of the most damaging things about addiction. When we're addicted to something, we are used to that instant gratification. I want it and I want it now, and I'm going to get it now. I'm going to get that hit of dopamine or serotonin instantly. So dealing with impulse control for me was just a matter of quitting. Saying no to myself when I thought I wanted a drug, when I thought I wanted to take a hit, when I thought I wanted to go buy nicotine, that was how I worked on my impulse control, by simply learning to say no to myself. Now, I also had to look at other areas of my life when it came to impulse control. Hold on. I had to look at my spending habits. I had to look at the rate at which I was viewing adult media content, right? I'd have the thought, hop on my computer, boom, right? I had to look at my behavior in relationships. I want to date this girl. I want to sleep with this girl. I want to do it now. I had to look at those things and say, Frank, no, no, you don't need to do this right now. You don't want to do this right now. That's how you deal with impulse control. Just continually practice saying no to yourself. And my other advice would be is put some friction between your thought and your action. So if you're thinking, I'm going to buy this thing right now, maybe leave your credit card at home. I mean, you kind of might need it for emergencies, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe set a spending limit on your credit card for each week or something like that. It's you just got to practice impulse control. I also, guys, after I quit, I got really into fasting. I do a lot with intermittent fasting, not to sound like some like, oh, this is my morning routine. I fast for 12 hours and take 10 cold showers, and then, I meditate and don't jerk off. That's because that's not my morning routine. But fasting really was a big help for me when it came to impulse control. On the last chat, you said you don't recommend vaping CBD. I don't recommend vaping CBD because I have had so many people reach out to us after vaping CBD having major problems from it. I think there's a lot of non-reputable companies out there making products, and I think a lot of people are getting sick off of them. There was actually, I can't remember where it was, Massachusetts maybe. There was an outbreak of a bunch of CBD vapes that were laced with fentanyl. You can search it and find it on Google. It's easy to find. I did a video on it on here as well too. I do not recommend vaping CBD though. My impulses, since it's a lot of routine and same work. It seems like I can't stop man, peaceful guy. I'm still pretty impulsive, but I direct my impulses into something more productive. So if I'm feeling an urge, like, Frank, you got to go buy that thing right now. And trust me, I love spending money. I'll tell myself, no, sit down, shoot a YouTube video. Boom. That's probably why I make so many YouTube videos every day. I try and redirect that impulsive behavior into something good. And peaceful guy, I don't think lack of impulse control, believe it or not, is all a bad thing, because I think sometimes people will spend so much time thinking things through, they never actually take action. They never get to that next step. And all I can relate this back to is my YouTube channel. So I think sometimes people might want to make a video and they'll be like, no, it has to be perfect. I'm going to take my time. Whereas me being impulsive, I was like, no, I just want to get a video up. I don't care what it sounds like or what it looks like. Boom, film, record, just going for it. So I don't always think the lack of impulse control is a bad thing, just as long as you recognize it. Heavy metals, respiratory damage from vaping CBD. Sure. I don't know what I can say. I started watching your videos and I've been grounded since then. It was actually your video that helped me. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that, Zion. I'm so happy. Thanks for helping me anytime when it comes to CHS, guys. CHS is a real struggle and we need more awareness on it. You helped me quit nicotine, almost 3 weeks sober. You guys, this is so like heartwarming. I hate smoking weed so much. Thomas, we all struggle on here with addiction, weed, nicotine, adult media content. And I'm going to tell you this, Thomas, there's no worse feeling than continuing to do something you don't want to do anymore. And the longer you remain in active addiction, the longer you train yourself into becoming complacent with doing things that you don't want to do. And this might turn into your professional career. You might be in a job you hate, and you might become very complacent with that because you've been trained to do something that you don't want to do. You've been trained to accept it. And Thomas, my friend, Tom, whatever you go by, you don't have to accept this, man. This is the opportunity to put your foot down and make one change in your life. And that change may have a significant ripple effect. If you put in the work and you put in the effort, you may have a significant ripple effect across many aspects of your life. Okay. I'll stand by nicotine patches forever. Never thought about smoking when I had them. Patches work. So, okay, that's awesome, D. Griffith. Of course. Guys, you guys know here, I don't really encourage nicotine replacement therapy, but look, it's great. If someone quit through a form of harm reduction like nicotine patches and it helped, hell yeah, that's awesome. And maybe you've tried cold turkey and you failed. Try nicotine patches. Maybe you tried nicotine patches and you failed. Try cold turkey. Maybe it's Chantix, which I'm really not. I really hate that drug. But maybe that's what it takes for you to quit. Of course, whatever works for you. That's awesome. How do I stop coming? I don't know. Thank you. Stop, you guys. Okay. Thank you. Very helpful to hear. 80 days free from nicotine and several weeks from alcohol and weed and 1 week of adult media content. The helplessness in regards to having total self-control. Um, it's awesome, Garrett, to regain that self-control. That is an incredible feat, especially when we're talking about nicotine, weed, adult media content, alcohol, energy drinks. This is a generation of addiction that looks different. Yes, there's pills and all these other things. We have every day nicotine, weed, alcohol, adult media content. You know what that does to someone's brain? 2, 3 pre-workouts, an energy drink. That is an addiction. That is a substance use disorder, and we're not talking about it. And Garrett, I think that's just an incredible accomplishment. Incredible. Um, I think that's incredible accomplishment. I didn't like you when I first saw you and rejected your message. Yeah, mindset is everything. Man, I'm persistent. A lot of people don't like to see me at first, and there's a reason for that. My company logo in my early videos is a hyena, and I used to open all my videos with that hyena laugh. And the reason for that is because I view that as the perfect mascot for addiction. I'm coming at you. I'm attacking a way of life that you've had for a period of time. And those teeth are going to come out, right? Addiction has teeth. And I think the hyena is the perfect mascot for it. Much like a hyena, they're very successful in the wild when they work together as a team, as a group. And I think addiction can be the same way. I think we're the underdogs, but when we achieve what we're setting out to do, when we become obsessed and focus our addiction into positive things in our lives, I think we truly become unstoppable. Porn addiction has got me in the grips. Yeah, that I think that was like they were all hard for me to quit, but nicotine and porn are hand in hand. Porn, I think, is one of the hardest things to quit because of the ease of access to it. The ease of access and the relatively like nicotine and weed, you can feel it physically. Porn, you do, but you don't realize how much you feel it physically until you quit for a period of time. It's tough. That one's very, very hard. I'll make a live just dedicated to that. Making art, awesome, awesome. Glad to see you out here, BJ. Love it. Yeah, trying to do more lives. Clean from ZYN for 6 months. That's awesome, MW Animations. How are you doing with that? I would love to know. You helped me a lot. I found you about 2 years ago. Slushy, that's what's up. 2 years, dedicated follower for 2 years. I love it. So thankful for your videos on greening out. Anytime it's stuff that needs more awareness, and we're doing that. And I want to, guys, I want to thank all of you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, this channel wouldn't exist. Like, you guys mean so much to me to choose to take the time to watch this channel. And, I know how valuable time is. That's one of the biggest things I learned in quitting an addiction was if I didn't start to value my time wasn't going to value me. And I appreciate you guys using your time and investing it into this channel. And that's why I'm always trying to bring you guys good content that's entertaining, because I never want to waste your time. You guys have spent enough time wasting your own time in active addiction, and I don't ever want to be responsible for wasting your time. Um, I use nicotine to get a buzz to make art. I feel like I'm unable to do it, less focus. Antone, that's very normal. Not being able to focus, especially when you first quit. Nicotine is a neurostimulant. It does increase adrenaline and it does increase alertness at first. And when you quit, you lose that at first, but it comes back. I promise it comes back after a few weeks, a few months. It comes back even more so than before. What I would tell you is this: long term, believe it or not, it's actually distracting you, because instead of just sitting down and getting focused on the art, you're focused on that nicotine. You're focused on, I can't even think about art until I get nicotine. So it's actually a distraction. I remember I used to be like at work and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't do this paper. I can't do this project until I get nicotine. So then I get in my car, I go buy nicotine, come back to work, catch a buzz, initially feel good, and then I'd feel drained afterwards. And then in 30 minutes later, I'd start going into nicotine withdrawal. I'd be like, okay, I need more nicotine to keep going. So long term, it's actually very distracting. It's not helping you. You only feel like it's helping you because once you alleviate the withdrawal symptoms by consuming nicotine, you have that sense of stress relief and that sense of satisfaction, that sense of, now I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. Normal people don't need that. People who aren't addicted to nicotine don't need that. They can just sit down and do it. So that's my advice. That's my best advice. It's a very, very, very scary place to be in when you start to attribute your success to the drug, to nicotine. That's very, very scary. And I've been there before. And I'm going to encourage you to start to see through that because it's BS. It's the addictive voice telling you that you're a success because of nicotine. Anthony, you're a success because you are a great artist. You make great art because you have a creative brain. Nicotine did not do that for you. Okay. 2 years and 4 months sober from daily alcohol. I tried to quit weed many times in my life and I can't seem to get past the first 3 months. Keep going, Mike. Keep going. You've been here before. You've been here before. Every time I want alcohol, like you really want to lose money, cause yourself. Yeah, Bigfoot. It's the same thing to you, Mike. Like when you're telling yourself, I really want alcohol or weed or nicotine, you got to accept the consequences that come with it. Then you got to accept the consequences because that buzz, it's not a good thing. You know, the worst part about the buzz, the worst part, it satisfies you. As an addict, it satisfies us to a large extent. Uh, well, it doesn't really because we're never satisfied. The buzz is an empty sense of satisfaction is what it is. We think we're satisfied, but then the moment it leaves our body and we enter withdrawals, we want more, leaving us very unsatisfied. So what can you do? Start to chase after things in life that bring an actual level of satisfaction. Watching your bank account grow, watching your body change for the better physically, being able to wake up with energy, creating something new, whatever. You got to go after those things. Okay. What are you going to start a private question Q&A group? Matt, I did start the private group. I'm going to make a video about this. I guess tomorrow I should. If anyone wants to be part of our private Zoom calls, it's $24.99 a month. We go once a week, maybe more sometimes on Zoom. And it's just private one-on-one. I can pull you up face-to-face in a semi-private session. It's $24.99 a month, and you can join right through the YouTube channel. You just click the join button below any of my videos, and we'll send you an email. We'll contact you. We'll reach out to you. We'll get everything all set up. Yeah, I'm live. Sober and playing Hail Infant. You look up ERG. No, I'll look it up. I'll look that up tonight. Hell yeah, I'll go blow some money on a stock. I don't care. No, I'm kidding. Be careful with that. I can finally breathe this year. No more weed or jewel nor cigs. That's what's up. Bling chink. That's what's up. Hey, can you talk about the Delta 8 withdrawal? Yeah, it's the same. It's essentially the same thing as THC. Just treat it the same. Delta 8, if you were using very unreputable products, you might be also going through some degree of like a pesticide detox or something like that as well, which is no big deal. You just got to go through it. But it's the same thing. The Delta 8 is same thing. 1 day at a time, 16 days, Zoom meetings, Marijuana Anonymous. Guys, great free resource right there. Marijuana Anonymous. And guys, all the resources, if you click the video description of any of my videos, there's links to all these things: group coaching, Marijuana Anonymous. I put all that, a free course on quitting. Okay. How do I not feel like a loser while being sober? Mike, I understand what you're saying, and there's a block here, and I get it. God, I'd love to have you in one of our semi-private group sessions so we could do one-on-one like this. Mike, you're holding on. Okay. You're stuck in this image that you're that weed guy. You're that guy with the weed. You're that guy at the party. You're that guy, right? It's an image. I was that guy that walked around with a dip in my mouth, drinking a Monster, and everyone knew me at the party as I was going to get bombed to do something funny. let go of that image, Mike. And Mike, if it was really cool, you wouldn't be wanting to quit. Like there's nothing cool about addiction. Again, go back to what is the reality of the circumstances that you're currently experiencing because of this addiction, Mike. Tell me what is so cool about life in active addiction. In my case, this is me. There was nothing cool for me about winding up back at home, didn't have money to do stuff that I wanted to do, couldn't hold down a relationship, couldn't get my physical health off the ground, constant panic attacks. Like there was nothing cool about me. I think this is cool now. I consider myself a cool guy now. You know, I got some social media clout. I got some stuff like that, right? But that's not what matters. That's not what matters. I have, you know what it is, Mike? There's this image of being cool, and then there's having like a true sense of confidence. And I developed a true sense of confidence from quitting the addiction, accomplishing something that I didn't believe I was ever capable of accomplishing. And that's freaking cool. That's what makes a person cool. So that's my opinion, Mike. What makes me cool is not being influenced by others. That's what makes me cool. Being the guy that's not consuming, the guy that's producing, the guy that's influencing. So, and Mike, you have the same opportunity. Everyone in this chat has the exact same opportunity. What are some other side effects of porn addiction? It's a lot of things: social anxiety, depression, fatigue. When you quit and you're going through withdrawals, very flu-like symptoms, insomnia, irregular sleep patterns, of course, a strong dependency, of course, erectile dysfunction. It can significantly damage, there's a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships that are damaged from porn addiction. Linder Tobe, glad to have you here today. Glad to have you here. I'm glad you found the channel. Always tired, don't get pleasure from other things. ED, yeah. Loves it, loves it. Yeah, Mike, and you're not a loser either. Like, yeah, I should have said that. Thanks for throwing whoever threw that out there. Like, you're not a loser. Like that's a mindset. That's a block. There's some blocks going on. And like I said, I want to dive in with you live one-on-one one of these times. If you use creatine, did you experience hair loss? I did use creatine and I don't think I experienced any hair loss. Is nicotine replacement therapy a good solution like pouches? I don't like pouches. I'm more a fan of gum or patches if you're going to do it. I don't like nicotine replacement therapy just because, in my opinion, you don't need nicotine to quit nicotine. You're best off just letting those nicotine receptors die off naturally, starve those little bastards. Okay. That's my opinion. But listen, that's not for everyone. Cold turkey is not for everyone. So if you haven't tried NRT and you want to try it, try it. And if you fail with it, ask yourself, why did this fail? And then go back and try it a different way next time. Just don't make the same mistakes twice. Anytime, Troy, happy to do this. Yeah, the cartridges, the weed cartridges, man, those things got me. I was buying dank vapes, Mario carts, TKO carts. I had real carts too. Some of them were real carts, but like med grade. But yeah, man, the carts are bad. I don't have the join button. That's really confusing. Okay, I'll see. Maybe I screwed something up. Maybe that's why we have no users on the group coaching that I keep promoting on things. I'm going to look into that, guys. I'm going to look into that, all right? That Delta 8 stuff is messed up. Yeah, Delta 8 is really screwed up. Cancer grade anti-nausea medication. That's scary. That's scary. Yeah. Garrett, I love what you're saying, the separation between spirit and body. And I can kind of answer that for you, okay? Here's my answer. So I used to look at my addictive voice as a separate thing. So I'd say, Frank, here's your rational brain, here's your addicted brain. And I would have my rational brain tell my addicted brain to shut the hell up. And my addicted brain was saying, Frank, go have a smoke, go take a hit, go do this, go do that. And I'd say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'd picture my two brains talking and I'd say, whoa, wait a minute. That's the addicted brain talking. And it's up to me what I do next. It's up to me if I'm physically going to get in my car and go buy another nicotine product. It's up to me if I'm going to text my dealer and go buy weed. And the answer was no. I would tell myself, no, that's not what you want to do. So Garrett, I love that. Seeing them as two separate things is I think so powerful. So powerful. Does addiction to weed matter if you're already rich? You got to look at your life circumstances. It's definitely not all about money. The wealthiest person I ever spoke to, I'm not making this up. This is insane. Had a gross income of 30 million dollars at one point during his prime a year. He had a year where he brought home $30 million. He is currently on his deathbed from alcoholism. So money in this person's case, it wasn't about money. Addiction had nothing to do with money for this person. So I'd be very careful. I'd just be very, very, very careful with that mentality. I'd be very careful. I hear what you want, but we are not going to do that. I feel you, dopamine, the forearm exercise at this time, food at this time, sleep at this time. I'm going to take care of you, but you are not going to boss me around anymore. Yeah, I love it. Yes, I love it. I get what you're saying. That's the conversation. Starve the bastards. Yeah, I love it. Interacts with people trying to quit on here, and you're awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, guys, I'm really trying to get more engaged. Yeah, those little insurgents, they're little bastards. That's how I imagined it. And every time I felt nicotine withdrawal, I'd be like, yeah, you're dying. Yeah, I'm winning. Boom, 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 boom. I just picked off another one, right? There's you actually have, when you're addicted to nicotine, you actually have billions more nicotine receptors than people who don't. Okay. And guys, I just want to, and so you got to let all those bastards die. And that happens very rapidly. 90 days is the gold standard, but it does take a full year. But guys, that doesn't mean you're going to suffer for a year at all. That does not mean that. When people reach out to me and they say, Dr. Frank, I quit smoking nicotine, weed, whatever, 3 months ago, and I'm still struggling. There is something else going on. There is some degree of psychological disconnect that is leading to physical anxiety in most cases. With weed, if you were heavy into the carts, yeah, you might actually still be suffering from physical symptoms, sadly. Yeah, if you guys join, again, the private coaching stuff, I'm going to make some private posts. Comment on the private post, and I'll get to you. We'll get emails exchanged. We're going to get really involved. We're going to have a private Discord, private Zoom calls. And if we get a lot of people, I'll start doing more than 1 or 2 a week, because I don't want to have too many people in the semi-private groups. I want to keep it to enough where we can interact kind of one-on-one with a small group of people. And the bigger picture for the private sessions, guys, is I want to put together like teams if you want. So I'd want to put you with like 5 other people and say, hey, here's your support group A, B, C, D. And then we're all going to be on a Discord together. It's going to be great when it actually takes off. Right now, I do a lot of one-on-one stuff privately. Okay. But if I add the join to the end of the URL page, it comes up. Okay, great. Is it okay to set a goal to quit by 18? Okay, great question. Setting a goal, and you're also lowering your nicotine percentage. So this would be my answer. Why draw out the suffering of addiction? Why wait? Why wait until you're 18? And I'm gonna say it like this. Have you said, I'm going to quit on New Year's? Have you said, I'm going to quit on my birthday? Have you said, I'm going to quit when I get a new relationship? Have you said this before? That's my question to you. Have you said this before to yourself? And have you failed? That's my question. Because if you've said this before, then you have to call out that lie. You have to say, wait a second. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold on. I've said this before to myself, and this is addiction lying to me to keep me addicted until I'm 18. That's what you have to call out. So I'm asking you, maybe you're not. Now, maybe this is your first time quitting. Maybe this is your first time, okay? If this is your first real attempt at quitting, that's a very reasonable approach. But if you've made this mistake before, call out your own BS, right? And my last thing on this is I think it's dangerous to put addiction on a pedestal and be like counting down the days, because then you're viewing it like, oh, 5 more days till my birthday, 3 more days till my birthday, 1 more day till I'm making this huge sacrifice. You're not giving anything up. It's about what you're gaining back. And why would you want to deprive yourself of all of these great things that might lie ahead for another second? Why? You have deprived yourself for this long in addiction. Why are we going to drag that out until you're 18? And my honest advice, I'd say realistically, man, if you're really going to do it, quit like a week or two before you're 18. So by the time you're 18, you feel good. Who wants to turn 18 and then feel like shit for the first week or two going through withdrawals? So that would be my challenge to you. But again, if this is your first time and that's the approach you want to take, do it. Parker Lee, sober journey, 13 days. Huge, Parker. Congratulations. How did you get the motivation to try and quit again after several failed attempts? I've made many videos on relapse, and let me word this correctly. When we relapse, we beat ourselves down, and it's a horrible feeling, relapsing over and over and over again. And Matt, at the end of the day, the mindset that I had to come up with was, Frank, you just have to do better than you did yesterday. And I kept saying that over and over again until yesterday was sober. Wow, now I'm sober. How am I going to do better than that? Well, now I got to start working on my goals. Now I got to start working on my hobbies. Now I got to start rebuilding, because now I'm sober. So now I got to do better than sober, right? So and Matt, the big thing is this, my man. The fact that relapse is even in your vocabulary is progress, because there was a point in your addiction where relapse didn't exist. It was just episode of use to use to use to use to use. So the fact that you're even talking about failed relapse attempts means you're in this game, man. You're totally in this. You're not losing. You're right here. You're rolling with the punches right now. I think it came to a point for me also where I was sick of my own bullshit. Like I was sick of my own, like, just failed attempt, failed attempt, failed attempt. Like it was like, Frank, when are you going to start winning, man? Failing feels like crap. And I think it came down to, I knew what relapse felt like. I owed it to myself to see what sobriety felt like. I got to a point where I knew, like, look, if I relapse again, I know how this ends. I know how this feels. I know the outcome. I don't know the outcome of being sober, though. And you owe it to yourself to see what's on the other side of that coin. You owe that to yourself, Matt. Okay? That's my opinion. 2 weeks to quit nicotine, of course. I just smoked a J. I have a migraine. Yep, that's possible. Physical weed withdrawal, sweating, chills, insomnia. Usually I'd say about 2 weeks for most people, maybe less. If you were heavy on the carts, heavy dabs, heavy edibles, it might last a while longer, maybe a month. 2 weeks without nicotine. Yeah, still on Nick, but I've got herb reduced. That's awesome. Awesome progress. I said I'd stop for over 20 years. I failed till I was 39. Emotional rock bottom. Yeah, guys, a lot of people, you know what's funny about rock bottom? I agree. There is a point where a lot of people will quit because they hit rock bottom. And I was getting close. I was getting close. But what I found was this. Remember this. Addiction never gives us higher highs. Addiction only creates lower lows. You are chasing after a high that does not exist when you are stuck in active addiction, but you are actively digging the hole for your next low. And I'll tell you, right at points in my life where I said, Frank, you can't go any lower. And then there I am relapsing, using again. I'm digging that freaking next low. And I was sick of digging my own ditch to eventually potentially bury myself. I was freaking sick of it. So if I'm going to struggle, if I'm going to have a hard time with something, I want to have a hard time climbing to the top, not falling down face first on the hill. Okay? That's the mentality. That's the mentality that I take, and that's the mentality that I apply almost to every aspect of my life. I am not going to struggle falling down. I'm going to struggle climbing up. I'm going to struggle building. That's the mentality that sobriety and recovery gave me. And I'll tell you, I'm tough as freaking nails because of it. It's freaking awesome. I really feel unstoppable. I mean, there's a few there's a few things that could definitely stop me. Like, I bleed just like everyone else. But can you talk about dating while sober? Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, Mike, I should make a YouTube video on that. Mike. That's really good. I have to write a note down. I'm gonna make a full video on that. I have to make a full video. Dating sober. I have to make a full video. It's a loaded question. Let me get to all their questions. If I don't see any, I'll go back to that. Um, Man, how do we chat personally? Yeah, we can chat personally, guys. There's links in all of my YouTube videos to schedule a one-on-one call with me. And it's expensive. I'm going to be honest. It's not cheap just because unfortunately my time really is like it has a pretty high value now because of the content and all the people that are like talking to us. But you can book a one-on-one call. The links are in all my video descriptions. Or if you want a semi-private group, you can join for $24.99 a month, where I'm going to be going live once or twice a week once we got people in the semi-private. Okay, so I managed to quit alcohol May 2016. My life finally started. Struggling with weed due to lockdown. Yeah. Oh, you'll recover from this one, Claire. You'll recover. You'll be Claire. You've been here before. Claire. Lockdown sucked. It sucked. Okay. But here's the thing, Claire. You've had your own personal lockdowns before. That was not the first challenge that you have overcome in your life. Understand that. I guarantee you, if I spoke to you, I would dig up about 40 other challenges that you've overcome up to this point in your life. And not to sound gloom and doom, but there's going to be another lockdown. Not COVID. I don't see that happening. But personally, there's going to be another trauma. There's going to be another struggle, Claire. And you already have tools from your first bout with addiction, quitting alcohol, and you just need to start applying those tools to weed. That's all. Now, Claire, if you're stuck in the position of, well, weed is the reason why I don't drink alcohol, then we have some work to do. Then we got to have a deeper conversation about things. But Claire, for right now, I know you have tools. I know you've overcome your own personal challenges, your personal lockdowns before. You've been here before. You're going to be in a place again. And I know you're capable of it. I know you are, because you quit alcohol. I know you are. It's addiction telling you you're not. Claire, the most beautiful thing about quitting is accomplishing something that you didn't think you were capable of doing. The feeling of satisfaction and confidence is unbelievable from that. If you really think about it, and Claire, you're capable of it. I wouldn't say that to you I wouldn't say that on a live. I wouldn't be shouting this on a live if I didn't think everyone in here was capable of that. Because although we're all very different, we're different people, genders, races, whatever. We're all different, from different struggles, different childhoods. We have one thing the same. We have an addictive mindset. We have the addiction mindset. We have the potential to obsess over something. And that is a gift and a curse. So I get how your brain works. I know you're capable of it. 195 days, no alcohol. That's right. If Brendan, New York did it, you can too. 4 weeks clean from weed. Thanks. Anytime. Happy to help. Trying to quit over and over. Finally won. 3 months weed free. Everyone's struggle looks different. You'll get there. Keep the only time you fail is when you quit on quitting. I don't care if I tell people I wanted to quit nicotine after my first year of using it. It took me eight, 8 more years to quit. I struggled for 8 years. Your quitting journey started the moment you said, I want to quit. You're in this, Claire. All you guys, you're all in this. You're all in this. Um, Okay, I'm on the end of day 3. I felt barely any withdrawal using CBD. Sure, sure. I don't like the vape cart. I don't like the vape cart, but whatever. If it's helping, like whatever. That's awesome. If you're getting to where you want to go and you're doing it however you're comfortable, that's okay with me. Like I don't care how people get there. We just got to get there. Um all right, let's see here. CBD. Yep. It does help. There's a lot of literature out there on that. Yep. Okay. I'm so glad there's a guy around in my age stopping Juul, drinking weed, important. Yeah, it's hard. Those 4 things, it is a generational addiction. It's a generational thing. The triad of addiction or the quintuplet of addiction. Dating sober, teen desserts. That's great. Yeah, I did a lot of dates with like coffee. I did a lot of dates with dinner. And for alcohol too, like if I didn't want to drink. Now, mind you guys, I would like I was not like I would have a cocktail. Alcohol for me was not a major issue, but I would just get like soda water with a lime in it. No one knew. No one knew. No one had any idea. And I'm freaking nuts too. So like a lot of times people probably think I'm intoxicated and I'm not. Yeah. Too many traumas. I need a rest. Not the reason I don't drink. So Claire, that's really good. That's really good, Claire, that's not the reason you don't drink. That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. One day at a time, Claire. I love it. Yep. You guys are all Jeremiah. Love it. Love it. I have a law case. Oh, Crohn's. Okay. Yeah, you're quitting. Okay, no problem. Um, Addiction was not fun once we realized we couldn't stop. Yeah. Yeah. 5 days clean from weed, but had a relapse today. CHS is the worst, but I love your advice. Yeah, man. Look, next time you look to get high, just ask yourself what comes along with that high. What is that high actually going to give you? And if it's CHS is brutal. When people quit for health reasons, CHS being one of them, I just say, think about your health. Like, why do you value your health? Why do you need to be healthy? Do you got kids? Do you got a job that you got to show up to? Are you in school? And by showing up to those things, how is that going to continually move the needle forward in your life? These are all things that we gotta go over. I gotta go to bed. First 3 days are usually the worst. Yeah, it's usually where withdrawals peak. Yeah. CHS, cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. Claire, this is where people consume too much cannabis and then you vomit, you have weight loss, you have muscle pain. CHS is a horrible, horrible condition. It's going great. The no alcohol. No, not cravings, because really, truly, no addiction to alcohol for me. But what it is, and I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to make a video on this, and I'm going to talk about it in the dating sober video. The challenge for me with no alcohol, and mind you, I would only have like 1, maybe 2 drinks once a week. Maybe. It's the peer pressure. It's you're out with a group of friends, everyone's having a beer, and you're thinking, oh man, I'd like a beer right now. And could I have a beer with truthfully no consequences, minus the fact that alcohol is ethanol and it literally is pointless? It rots your body. Yeah, I could do that and have really minimal consequences. With that being said, the hardest thing is just being there, like not having to explain to people, but just having people like, hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you having a drink? And it's different now. It's different with alcohol from when I quit weed and nicotine. It's a very different scenario. But at the end of the days, guys, it's the same scenario. It's a matter of, do you want to be the person who's influencing or the person who's being influenced? It's a peer pressure thing. It really is an indirect peer pressure. And I'm going to talk a lot about that in that dating video. But so far, so good. So far, no problems. It's been very easy. I'll tell you though, the restaurant I go to every Saturday night, I usually get a burger and a beer. And the lady comes out with my beer and she's like, "Oh, here, like, they just know me. I go there every Saturday." And I was like, "Oh, not this week. Can I just have a hot water with lemon instead of a burger? I got a chicken sandwich." And she was like, "Jesus Christ, you're throwing me off." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Okay. 17 days free from weed. We've been lied to. Earth is not a globe. It's not flat. That's controlled discredit to true." Okay. Flat earth versus round earth, whatever. Um, I never thought I was going to be clean, and your TikTok scoped me over a year clean. A year clean. That's awesome. Yeah, Garrett, I love laying out my day. Can dabbing bring on CHS over time? Absolutely, Jeremiah. Absolutely can. Um, yeah, my day is packed. Uh, my day is absolutely packed. I love that. Listen to your temptations and respond with authority. Woo, woo, that's good. Gives me chills. I like that type of stuff. Um, PhD, just be strong, my friend. Every day gets better. I'm 28 days clean and I feel amazing. It's so worth it, guys. I wouldn't do this if I didn't think it was worth it. This channel, guys, if I thought addiction was worth it, honestly, I would have started a channel dedicated to it. Would have been a channel of me getting high, watching porn, and chewing tobacco. If I really thought that that was better, I would have made a channel doing those things. But I really believe that this is better. I really do. I wouldn't wake up and do all this stuff, and I wouldn't be here talking to you guys on a Saturday night if I didn't think it was worth it. So hang in there. Hang in there. Um, 2 days off weed, felt the effects, had an appetite instead of forcing myself to eat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I got to go. We've been on here for a long time. Anyone who wants anything more, look for the join button underneath our YouTube videos. Okay. You can join the semi private Discord groups, the semi private Zoom calls where we do semi private one on one coaching. Or if you want to talk more one-on-one, you can find all that information in the video links, descriptions of all my YouTube videos. I convinced myself weed helped my Crohn's. Um, I Griffo, I don't know the answer to that, but here's my answer because this is important. I want you to watch my video on medical cannabis. I have a video where the thumbnail says medical cannabis. I want you to go watch that video, okay? Because that's going to help you a lot. Um, that's going to help you out a lot. You guys, I love you guys. This was great. Thank you for supporting the channel as always. We wouldn't be here without you guys. We wouldn't be here if I wasn't sober. We wouldn't be here if you guys didn't care about getting sober. It's awesome. It's awesome. Here we are. All right. Bye. Have a great night.